In this video, we're going to talk about modern electronic marshalling systems used in F1, but first I'd like to quickly thank today's sponsor, the Ridge wallet. Are you annoyed by bulky, awkwardly designed wallets when you just want something to smoothly fit in your pocket when you're out and about? Are you? 'Cause I was. Stupid, bulky wallet, ruining my good times. The Ridge wallet though, look at it, compact, efficient, pretty stylish. Doesn't take up any more space than it needs to and looks good doing it. You can get 12 cards within its snug grip and slide your cash into without fuss. Nice. You want design options? There are like over 30 colours and style choices. And if you're not sure you'll like it, Ridge will give you a 45-day test drive, and if you don't like it, you'll get a full refund. For 10% off your own Ridge wallet, go to ridge.com/chainbear and use the unique code chainbear at checkout. Thanks Ridge wallet, and now, on to the video. Marshalling in F1 has come a long way in the 21st century as Formula 1 has moved beyond people waving flags at the side of the track communicating with race control via walkie-talkie. Now the race is controlled by a sophisticated, interconnected electronic system that allows decisions to be made quicker, marshals to stay safer, and drivers to be more reliably informed of the live track status. To get the inside information on this, I spoke to Luca De Angelis from Motorsport, the company responsible for the technology behind Formula 1's marshalling system.
Yeah, so I am Luca De Angelis, and I am Motorsport deputy manager and senior race track engineer for the Formula 1. And my work here is trying to make Motorsport as better it is now.
Motorsport designs many components that make up the complete marshalling system used across race weekends, the most obvious being the electronic flag panels seen alongside the track. These digital flags are fitted with 2,000 LEDs that replicate messaging previously shown by cloth flags alone. They were first introduced to Formula 1 in 2009 and are now mandatory for Grade 1 circuit use. But what do these digital flags offer that the decades-tested method of just having human marshals waving flags lacked on its own?
Basically, in the cars, there were no signals or no information to the driver apart from the marshal waving the normal flags around the circuit. Of course, this was creating some issues because the driver maybe was not looking in the right position, so he couldn't see the marshal waving the flag. Mm-hmm. But it was also dangerous for the marshals to be exposed on the track to wave this flag and try to reach as possible. But now with the panels, we can place the panel very close to the track, mm-hmm. so the driver can really clearly see it. But the marshal can be kept safe in a position behind the fence and maybe far away from the panel.
When we, the audience, think of sectors, we think of the 3 timing sectors that divide the lap up. These are the sector times shown during qualifying and the race that highlight in purple or green as faster times are achieved. But from a race control perspective, the track is divided into many more marshalling sectors, which can easily be seen here on the race director's notes for Imola, for example. Each marshalling sector has an electronic flag at its start, which controls the track status up to the next marshalling sector. A yellow flag flown at marshal light location 8 means the whole of sector 8 is under yellow flag conditions, and if a green light is shown at light location 9, that's where the yellow flag zone ends. The marshal in control of their digital flag for their sector should be able to see the entire sector ahead of them while positioned safely away from the dangers on track, as this marshal at the controls may well be a few hundred meters away from the light panel they control, as the light panels can be suspended directly over the track further than any physical cloth flag could reach, with LEDs that shine brightly in rain, sunset, night, and spray. As soon as they activate the flag, the signal is sent not just to the flag panel, but to race control and to the steering wheel dashboards of any drivers in the affected sector.
In Imola, we had this week the accident between Bottas and Russell. There is an onboard camera from Raikkonen that was just behind. Mm-hmm. While the crash was still happening, you can see on Raikkonen's steering wheel the flags coming on. So basically, in the moment the 2 cars were still colliding each other, the marshal pressed the yellow flag. The flag was displayed on the panel, and the information was sent to the cars that were approaching. So in a fraction of a second, the whole system is able to inform many people involved about mm-hmm. the possible.
So if a controlling marshal spots an event in their sector, they say activate the yellow flag, double yellow flag, blue flag, slippery surface flag, or, whatever. And this information is sent to race control where they can tap into the cameras, including CCTV, and communicate with the marshals to decide further action like bringing out a safety car or a red flag. But at the heart of all this are the marshals themselves. They are the key.
The marshals are still very important in motorsport because it's true, we have lots of technology, we have CCTV cameras, we have GPS positioning, we have all this technology, but the human reaction and the human perception of what is happening is still the most important thing. So when the marshal sees something that may be dangerous, he knows already if he wants to show a yellow flag or a double yellow flag, depending on the situation. And the moment he presses the button, the information is sent to race control.
And while localized sector flag information is sent to any driver entering that sector, circuit-wide signals like the deployment of a safety car are sent to every driver's steering wheel simultaneously. The electronic flags were introduced in 2009, accompanied by lights on the dashboard that flashed for the drivers before the modern dashboard screens were introduced across all the cars. The shift across to electronic systems was actually fairly painless.
I would just want to say that flag panels and the normal flags have the exact same meaning. What I mean is that the panels have not completely replaced the marshals on track.
No.
We still have flags waved by the marshals. There is no difference between the flag panel and the normal flags in terms of meaning. So, for example, if I have a yellow flag on the panel and 200 meters after I have a green flag waved by the marshal, that green flag is still acting as the end of the yellow sector.
But at the heart of the marshalling system is the problem they were asked to solve at the very beginning, way back in 2006. Monitoring accurate live location data for all the cars on track.
Basically, it started with a single question and was from Charlie Whiting asking, I want to see the position of the cars on the track. And that was the first thing. Can you do it? Yes, of course we can. It took us some time, but in 2006 we had the first cars, F1 cars with the GPS position, dual radio communication. Then it was quite a collaborative, relationship with the FIA Formula One for the first few years.
While the GPS systems used by EM are more accurate than the ones typically found in your car's sat-nav or your phone's map app, they do have limitations that need to be understood.
Let's say in a situation with clear sky, in a good environment, we can easily reach like 20 to 30 centimeters accuracy. Mm-hmm. The situation is a bit more complicated when we are under, a tunnel in the Carlo or Singapore or Baku. These are conditions where infrastructure like GPS can have some issues. And in this condition, we need to intervene with sensors, like inertial sensor, gyroscopes, and work together with this sensor and create an algorithm that give us the possibility to position the car in the right position.
And while this level of precision, well within a meter of accuracy on a good day, can provide extremely useful information for driver tracking, including when a car stops unexpectedly on track or leaves the tarmac, it is unfortunately not pinpoint sharp enough to deal with the ongoing problem of track limits.
Unfortunately, the GPS may still have some drift, depending on the force, that lateral force of the vehicle. There is a drift on there. GPS works quite well in an empty field. And if I have a farm tractor that is driving a straight line at 40, 20 kilometers per hour, we can have a 2 centimeter position.
Sure.
But on an F1 car with the hard braking and the deceleration, acceleration, that is a big issue. So when we are talking about track limits, we are talking about really 2 or 3 centimeters of accuracy. And it's possible to give a sort of indication that the car is out of track, it's on the track limit, but it cannot be used as an official measurement for track limits.
All of this information, the flag statuses, the track sectors, the driver positions, are the exact data fed into the TV graphics we audiences around the world see on the world feed.
That is a funny thing that I usually tell to some of the marshals when they do some briefing. I try to explain them how important is the difference between yellow flag and double yellow flag, for example, and how important is their role as a marshal. Because when I tell them, the moment they press a button, the drivers will see the flag through the panels or through the dash, race control will see the flag, the teams see the flag, but also millions of viewers in TV will see the flag. So that is what one button can do to the whole world. Just not give them too much pressure, but
you give them a lot of power.
Yeah, exactly. So this is how the systems actually link together.
Another important piece of the puzzle designed to track safety data are the accident data recorder and the earpiece accelerometer, both of which use sensors to monitor and record acceleration and movement in cases of impact and accident. The ADR is full of accelerometers and gyroscopic sensors that define and record the accident severity. It works like a black box with information being logged all the time that doesn't necessarily need to be accessed until it needs to be analysed, like in the case of a severe impact.
And this information are useful to FIA when they do some accident analysis to identify a problem on the brakes or deceleration or impact and all this sort of information that are useful then for future development, for future, let's say, safety programs. There have been quite few accidents where the information from the ADR helped FIA to improve car chassis or other things.
5 or 6 years ago, the earpiece accelerometers were introduced, which hide sensors inside the driver's radio earpieces to record head movement.
This information can be used to understand the brain movements and the head of the driver movements and the oscillation and all this information that are quite useful, because the ear canal is the closest part to the brain of the driver. It's quite important to understand the effects of an accident over the driver's brain.
And while this information is used a lot for post-accident analysis to improve and develop safety systems, recognised accident data will immediately be sent to race control and the relevant medical team so they can be instantly informed on the nature of the impact.
An example, quite clear example was last year with Grosjean impact. As soon as the car hit the barrier, we received the information of the impact. And of course, in that situation, the medical car was already behind because it was the first lap of the race. But information was sent to race control. It was sent to the medical car as well, and so they knew already what was some of the information of the accident. So it's extremely direct information. Last week in Imola, again, the accident between Bottas and Russell, we received a notification as soon as the two cars collide together. In less than a couple of 100 milliseconds, we received information of the impact.
While human marshals remain the centre of race marshalling, as well they should, having ever connected electronic systems to quickly communicate important track information between the marshals, race control, the drivers, the teams, and even the commentators and the audience themselves has improved things dramatically. Things move at high speed in F1, so being able to reduce the time between on-track incidents occurring to actively controlling the safety of the track and communicating it to the drivers will reduce accident, injury, and save lives. Many thanks again to Luca De Angelis for speaking with me from the inside. I'll try and speak with more people on the inside in future to keep you more closely connected with the people involved in making Formula One work.